Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anime Watch Club, a bi-weekly group discussion and review where the hosts of what you say anime podcast nominate and vote on shows either we haven't seen or shows that hopefully to a great discussion. On today's episode, we celebrate pride and terrible scheduling with our review of the 2025 anime This Monster Wants to Eat Me. Today's yokais will be myself, Jolyne, and leading the conversation, we got Miles. Miles, take it away, good sir.
Yeah, so this broke my brain because I'm just so used to Pat being here
Right.
and it being sent to him. But yeah, we're doing This Monster Wants to Eat Me, a supernatural girls' love by Studio Lings based on a manga that came out late last year. Pete and I have already discussed this a little bit in a seasonal wrap-up episode. So if you've seen that, you have a little bit of an idea. But quickly, I will give a quick synopsis and then ask you guys for your first impressions. So after an accident sent her family to their deaths in the ocean, Hinako Yaotose keeps returning to the thought of sinking forever into the sea herself. With Miko Yashiro as her only friend, Hinako manages to keep up a semi-happy facade, but whenever Miko leaves her side, she slips into despair. Anyway, I'm just going to shortcut this Mal thing. She meets a girl named Shiori who is a yokai mermaid. Shiori saves her from another yokai who's trying to eat Hinako. And then Shiori's like, I also want to eat you, but I want to make you happy first because then you will taste better. Hinako, suffering from a traumatic case of survivor's guilt and depression, welcomes this as she sort of wishes for death, but is unable to do that herself due to feeling like it would make her family upset, basically, that she would be throwing away the chance. So she's in a state of paralysis, which is a large theme of this, especially with the sinking that we will see. But yeah, what are our first impressions? We will start with Pete.
Yeah, like you mentioned before, we've already reviewed this, so this was my rewatch and sort of trying to pick up on some things that I didn't get the first time. So first impressions right off the bat, I kind of forgot how much I really like this show. Like it hooks you really fast. I think a lot of times when we get anime shows like this, where a core concept is not necessarily suicide, but like on the line of that of having a pretty miserable life and looking for different routes. And I just like the way that they handled it. Like they didn't I like it when shows like don't joke around, they don't mess around. They deal with like the real shit that is happening with the subject matter. And I thought the way that they introduced the yokais to sort of fuel like the idea of like what Hinako is going through was a nice touch to like a different type of story that you would traditionally see if there wasn't supernatural powers involved, something like that. Um it's infinitely better than Orange. Anytime I get a chance to shit on Orange, I'm gonna do it. So here we go. This is so much better than the show Orange. But I mean, I just God, it's so good early, and it just only gets better with each episode. We're exploring the subject matter, we're exploring the relationships, we're exploring the intent of these characters and why they're here, what's driving them to stay alive, what's driving them to be their friend, what's driving them to be their lover, question mark. It's like there's so many things that go along with this show that it just captivated me off the bat, and I love it. I would absolutely recommend this show. It's so good. I think when we reviewed it, it was like it was my second favorite show this season. So yeah, I have really high praise for this show. So recommended for me, 2 thumbs up.
Great. And Jolyne.
Yeah, so I remember seeing people gush about this whenever it was coming out. It was like a pretty, and I'm going to do something that Pat normally does because, he's not here, but it was a pretty big topic of discussion every week on our Discord. Join the Discord when you get a chance.
Sick plug, Joe.
Thank you. Who needs Pat, honestly? Not me.
I do.
So I was pretty excited when this won because it felt relatable in a lot of ways. Like obviously, I'm a trans woman and a lesbian. And so like getting to review like a girl's love is always nice, especially a girl's love where they actually like kiss and stuff. Spoilers, like that's just so rare that I was like, oh shit, it's not bait. Nice.
Watch both.
Yeah, I'll take a look at some point. Spoiler, maybe I'll nominate that somewhat soon. Not in this episode, but somewhat soon. And I'm an aquatic girly. I love fish. I love like traditional monsters. The monster designs in this were really solid from what I had seen. So I was just really excited to start this, and it lived up to the hype. I think that the first few episodes do a really good job of setting up the characters, particularly our main character and like Hinako and Shiori. Like you get introduced to Shiori and it's like, wow, this is the most depressed person that has ever existed in anime, possibly. Like,
Hinako.
holy shit.
Sorry for clarity.
Hinako.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. And then like there's a lot of show don't tell in the first 3 episodes that foreshadows things later on. Obviously, like the creatures being attracted to Hinako wearing like the long sleeves and such, which is something I feel like a lot of people probably didn't pick up on, but I was like, oh, I know exactly where this is going. Although I thought it was going to be more of like a self-harm angle rather than like I thought there was maybe going to be like she wants somebody to kill her because she is unable to do it herself, sort of like undead unluck or something like that. But spoilers, again, not the case. I really enjoyed this. The OP is solid. The OST is really good. Voice acting, A+ from the start. Definitely recommend for me. If you're somebody who likes horror and girls love, which is often a circle Venn diagram, I've found, check this out.
As a proud member of the circle, I would also recommend this. I think the atmosphere of this is great. I think it does a great view on the general hopelessness and despair and stuck feeling you can get with depression. The whole thing is just kind of a vibe. It's a really interesting premise to me for a few reasons. One is because like the general conceit of their initial agreement being that Hinako will get to die as soon as she doesn't want to die anymore, which I think is just inherently very interesting. I also think the sort of dynamic of, again, some spoilers here, but you learn that Shiori is at the very least, if not kind, coming from a kind-hearted place. Maybe that is a little too. She's still a monster, I think, at the end of the day. But she is trying to help Hinako, but it's by dangling. It's giving her a goal, but like in parentheses, like derogatory, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like it's a really interesting dynamic, and I think like the compare and contrast of how Shiori and Miko try to deal with Hinako's mental state is very interesting. I just think the whole group of 3 of them is a very interesting dynamic that they have, and I like that it's such a tight little cast too. I think that's good for things like this. I think that there's a world where this gets like sort of too bloated of a cast, but it's very there's more or less like 3 characters in this, right? And I think that is good. I like that. Like if you're looking at the supporting characters on Mal, there's another yokai who's in like 2 episodes who I would say is a supporting character, and then there is this girl Risa who is one line basketball girl number 3 or something, basically.
Yeah.
Like just an unbelievably minor character who's only there to be like, wait, is something wrong? So Miko has to stay somewhere. Like can't go look for Hinako.
The cast was kept so tight that Hinako's family don't even have eyes. They have a congenital disease where they have no
You're
eyes.
right, yeah.
Do we know?
It's lucky for her that she just didn't get that like congenital illness that the rest of her family was afflicted. That's probably why they drove into the ocean. Actually, they don't have fucking eyes.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. But yeah. So I guess the first sort of talking point that I would like to bring up, just for like a general thing to keep on going with this is, and like, how did you guys enjoy sort of the mood of this, right? Like, I think this is like, it has a very distinct mood to it. And how do you think it went about sort of setting that and establishing it and carrying that out throughout the show? It also breaks at that one time with the little Miko bit in that one episode, which is a lot of fun.
That was so fun.
I know,
That
but
ED is so good.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my general. That's like the first question, because that's the first thing that I sort of feel with this. Like, this anime also makes me feel like I'm drowning sometimes, I guess, like in like a emotional sort of way, and I think that's like good, right? Like, I think that's sort of what it's going for. But I'm curious what you guys think.
I kind of like the roller coaster of emotions that I went through on on the story, because it is set up where it's a tragedy. She loses her parents. She lives by the skin of her teeth, and she's living with all this regret. There's like a lot of emotional baggage with Hinako, but at the same time, like with characters like Miko and Shiori, they introduce like an element of hopefulness, even though, like, Shiori does want to eat Hinako. It never really feels like it's like in a malicious way. Like, it always feels like there is an overlining positiveness in this story, even with the context that it's given. And but then it kind of subverts that in some aspects where, like you said earlier, like the Miko episode where we get the ED at the end, and it's super bubbly, it's super fun and very Genki style like that. And then we get stuff like episode 10 and 11 where it's like, is Hinako about to kill herself? Like, it rides this wave. So like, it always keeps you on your toes. It always keeps you engaged, where it's not 12 episodes of despair. It's not 12 episodes of hopefulness. It's not 12 episodes of saviorism. It's like, it's a mixture of a whole bunch of different things going on with it, which I think is just like encompasses like the human emotion. Just like, today you might be super happy and tomorrow you might be extremely depressed. It's like, that's just how we work. And I feel like the story sort of did that, and it had a real human tone to it with how much supernatural elements that there were. So I gotta give credit where credit's due. I was fully engaged the whole time. It made my rewatch very enjoyable. So I really like what was presented to us. Jolyne?
Yeah, I would agree as well. I think that like the more interesting tone for like sort of character tone for me was probably Shiori, because like you said, Pete, like even though her whole thing is like, yeah, I'm going to devour you, I'm literally going to like cut you open and eat your guts and all that sort of like she goes on these screeds about what exactly she wants to do sometimes, and it's just like the most foul shit you've ever heard anyone say, but like cool.
Yeah.
But underneath that, like the feeling that is there underneath the surface is that she does not necessarily, like, we as an audience feel that Shiori doesn't necessarily have like the heart to actually kill Hinako like that, way before Hinako asks her, Shiori, do you even like want to eat me like that for real? And I just think that's like a really interesting dichotomy that she has to present, where, and it informs like her relationship with both of the main characters, right? Because obviously Hinako is like the main object of Shiori's like affection and attention, but she also has like jealousy and bitterness towards Miko for her ability to blend in with humans, her ability to shed her yokai nature in order to be close to Hinako, in order to give her what is it would be a considered a positive relationship in like the human world, essentially. So I just thought that that was really interesting, and like just the general like sort of dichotomy between Miko and goddamn, I
Shiori.
just said the mermaid. Yeah, Shiori, thank you. My brain just blanked, but the dichotomy between Miko and Shiori is just so interesting, and how they go about trying to give what each of them thinks Hinako needs.
Yeah, I think that's like part of the most interesting thing to me about this is, right, like, I think there's it's so tough because I think Miko is clearly the way that most people would go about it, right? Just like being very supportive and happy and like there, to support Hinako. And what Shiori does is, I don't know. It's just I think it is like the way that a literal monster would try to help a human. Someone who doesn't understand like the human condition or empathy as much as Miko does, but like it is a very practical method because it stops Hinako from hurting herself because she sees a possible goal, and then it also drives her to try to improve her life, like make herself happier because that is the prerequisite, and she's so down that she doesn't understand the inherent contradiction in that, right? Where it's like, okay, once you're happy living again, I'm going to eat you. It's like, well, that's fucking horrifying if it's real,
Yeah. It actually reminds me, I don't know if you've ever played like Bloodborne or anything like that, but the idea of like the eldritch creatures in Bloodborne is that they're bestowing gifts upon humanity, but they can't conceive of the fact that humans are so like fragile that it'll drive them insane or
okay,
like body or like horrifically maim them or something like that. Like when you're like an immortal being who like when things eat you, it gives them immortality, like you can regenerate from everything. Yeah, I assume like there's probably worse stuff than being eaten. Like she's like an animal almost, where that's just sort of like she literally describes everything at the zoo as just being meat to her. So like that is just the end state of all things to her, is that it will be eaten or not eaten, more or less. And yeah, it's just a means to an end, essentially.
Yeah, and that is this brings me to the Preston question of the week, because this is, and I know we weren't supposed to do this. I do apologize, but he did ask me.
He doesn't
But he
doesn't
wanted to
listen
know
to
if
the
we thought,
episode,
like,
so he doesn't get questioned.
it's over. Cut it.
Got it.
Try and cut
but
this
like
out.
how we thought, like, does Shiori view Hinako as like a person or as like cattle? And I think it's a person, but I think she spends, as Jolyne pointed out, everything for so long has been cattle to her that, like, even though she views Hinako as a human, like, and maybe like one of the only humans she like cares about, like the only one, right, is like it's tainted by the way she views everything else in a sense, I think, in a very interesting way, because I don't, again, we know it's not completely malicious, but I think it does have almost like a ownership factor to it, if that makes
100%.
sense, like a superiority sort of view.
It's like a dominance thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly.
Like I know people who have dynamics like not like I'm going to eat you or whatever, but they like I know people who have dynamics similar to this where they're like, yeah, no. And it's like, I mean, that's, their shit, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's a
It's
I was reading a review of this, and it was like, oh, like the driving relationship behind this is not romantic or sexual, and I was like, yeah, maybe if you don't know what fucking metaphor is, it's, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. The dynamic is very interesting. I think that a lot of, I guess, like in my experience from what I've consumed, a lot of, queer media has someone like Shiori come in and sort of break open the world of the main character in a sort of dominant kind of way that people without the, I guess, knowledge of the community or whatever would view as problematic, where it's clearly just a cracking open the egg, so to speak,
Interesting choice of words, Miles.
Yeah, well, what do you do? But I do think there's some of that in this, right, where it's like Shiori is just sort of brute forcing the Hinako situation, which is good, because Hinako needs it.
I was say I kind of had something like this when we watched or Cosmic Princess Kaguya, where like I kind of felt completely different of what other people felt with like those characters' relationships, because at parts, if sometimes it felt like Shiori was Hinako's mom, like the whole scene of like, I mean, like her blood, like saving her essentially, like owing the responsibility of like taking care of Hinako, like looking after her happiness, I would say in a sense, in a way where at points it felt like it was her mom. Like it's like I didn't get like
So
the sexual tension like we did towards the end of it, where you know they
okay, I was
actually
gonna say
kiss,
because like so
but like you
it
remember when we
is.
did Cosmic Princess Kaguya, where like the whole time I was like, I never,
Oh yeah, you viewed that as
I never got that as like Yuri, like ever throughout the entire series of that movie. And this
I
was
mean,
like, this
I'm
is a
gonna like
little
fourth
different,
wall
but
the camera
like,
right now. I'll jin the camera and say it's bait, but like they definitely intended that, right? Like I feel like for this though, I think it's interesting, Jolyne. I'd love your perspective on it because I think it starts off. I mean, you see it, and there's like a little guardianship to it, right? Shiori has known Hinako since she was young. She's protected her, she's saved her, and stuff. The thing to me is when you say you want to devour someone whole, that
Who among us?
have you ever been swallowed up?
that's a sex metaphor. That's
What
uh,
is?
yeah, so like and
Oh,
that happens in episode 1. So
It's a, you know what? Never mind. I almost got us explicit tagged. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it. I have self control. I have self control.
oh my goodness. But yeah, I mean, I sort of viewed it I mean, I think that the whole thing is very slow burn because the priority isn't developing a romantic relationship. The priority is like getting Hinako grounded and healthy. Jolyne, what are your thoughts on the dynamic there?
I think that this series is actually what pushed me over the edge into saying that I just don't really give I don't care about like age gaps when it comes to monster human relationships. I just don't care. Like unless they're
Yeah,
like specifically
oh
like
yeah.
grooming the people clutch their pearls over this shit, man.
It's like
Look at Call
vampires,
the
right? Like the same
Yeah, no,
thing?
literally, I was gonna say, look at Call of the Night.
Yeah, it's like the
People
same
clutch their
shit.
pearls over that so hard,
To
and
me,
I
yeah.
just like I don't care. I don't care.
To me, there's like a huge difference. Not to talk over you, I apologize, but like
No,
I just
you're
need to
fine.
support this point where if you have like okay, it's just an inherent conceit to this. You go, yeah, sure. If you view this fucking human monster relationship as a real relationship, it is actually problematic in some ways. Who fucking knew? She wants to eat her. That's
They
also
would have power.
problematic. Like,
They would have a power dynamic difference even if they were the exact same age, because
yeah,
she's a
exactly. Like,
mermaid
there is
that can leap 30 feet into the air on a whim and create huge craters in the ground by punching it. Like, anyway, the dynamic of this, I think that like
I will say,
as
I think if someone acts as creepy as Edward Cullen does in the first couple Twilight movies, you're allowed to go back
okay,
on it and say, actually, I do care. That's
he's
all I
been
want.
17 for so long, going to like high school and shit. That's my only issue. He's been going to high school too often. He should go get a
So is
job.
Shiori.
No, Shiori, I think she's just been chilling. I don't think she's been going to high school besides for
Oh, well, she does.
like,
Yeah, she
yeah,
starts going to high school though. But yeah,
yeah,
that's
but
true.
that's for
He
like
doesn't. She
a,
doesn't keep going to high school. That's true.
over the course of like 100 years or whatever Edward Cullen's been doing. But to answer your question, in the lesbian community, like in the gay community in general, age gap relationships are not like super uncommon, and it's not uncommon for one of the people to have like a sort of like caretaker role because they know how to navigate things better, they know how to navigate life better, they might be more confident, that sort of thing. It's not always necessarily like it, even based on the age or anything. Like it's just, again, it's dynamic things. I don't really mind it too much. I've seen like I've definitely seen ships that are weirder about it, like I'm not going to name any particulars actually because I don't want anybody to get mad at us for me naming particulars. But there are various like shonen ships where the characters are essentially man children being babied by their like female partners or whatever, and nobody raises a fuss about that. But I don't know. I don't mind it at all. Some people might clutch their pearls about it. Oh well, like she literally, again, like Miles said, she literally wants to eat her. Like there are more pressing matters at hand.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, the mermaid. It's just old. Just like, oh, you know what the other issue is? Like, I don't know. There is both Miko and Shiori do some mothering of Hinako in this, and they also sort of like have a fun little buddy cop tag team episode or two. Which Jolyne, did you read Ward?
No, not all of it.
Okay, well, it reminds me of the TT and Vic dynamic a little bit.
Yeah. I get that. I get that.
But which is amazing.
That's
I don't know. I don't think the
show.
review is is like wrong, Pete. I just think it's like,
Oh,
yeah,
Shiori and Miko? That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Oh, I love their ship. I love their ship. I don't know if like
that's a good ship.
It's like enemies to lovers, but in like a different sense, where they're both going after the same person, but then they realize that they're actually better together, and then that's where I wanted it to go.
That's almost Toradora.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of.
It's really
actually
close.
Yeah.
It's not quite, but almost.
Yeah. Adjacent.
Yeah. Which is a fun dynamic, right? Like that whole thing would be great. I mean, I think there's like a 0% chance that happens, but I would love it.
I would say 1%. They have some chemistry.
Yeah, man.
Never say never. Come on.
It's just really hard for any time the first love interest appears on screen. The first one that's on the screen wins. It's just how it works. It's the sad reality of the world we live in.
True.
Though I do like Hinako and Shiori. I think it's a very sort of fun dynamic. I think it's just because I think Shiori is cool. Like maybe that's why I'm just like, wow, she's neat. But I don't know. I really like all three characters, and if you pair them up in basically any way, I think I would be happy. Which is a good shout for the cast. This is an Eagle question, but I want to talk about it a little bit because I thought the pacing of this was like.
Hold on.
I don't know if it's the Eagle question of the week, but it was an Eagle question.
All right, take it back. Not the Eagle question of the week.
Yeah, this isn't the question of the week, but it is regardless. It is an Eagle question. But Eagle asked, would the show have been more effective as a film rather than a TV series? And for this one, sometimes I yes, but I think no on this. I think the pacing, which is a little slow, but I think it's incredibly intentional. Hinako lives in a state of stasis, of fear, of resignation almost. And I think that plays into like some of our slower pacing moments, right? Like I think we constantly see this imagery of her just sinking in water, which is she finds it calming, I think, because she's used to it. It's like a sort of a comfort for her despite the inherent danger that it presents. But like I think because she's like she can't do anything. There's no actions for her to take. This is where she is, and I sort of think the pacing like deliberately plays into that. But what do you all think? Do you think this could have made a better movie than a series?
I don't know about better, but I think it definitely could have been a movie. I think something along the lines of like where we got like the yokai fight in the middle with Ayame, her character. Well, I do think it like serves a role in the show. Like I feel like if you cut it, you would still like not miss like the core principles of what this was trying to like go for. So I think there's some episodes where like you could cut if you needed to cut time to make a movie out of this, but I don't think it would necessarily be better, but I think it would work in that format.
If you cut the Ayame stuff though, you miss Hinako learning that her blood tastes bad. which is really important.
I guess I didn't find it as important since I forgot.
Well, it's important because that's how she figures out Shiori isn't planning on eating her, and how she finds out Shiori was involved in
you.
saving her. Oh, okay.
I'm not saying I'm saying I forgot.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Jolyne, what are your thoughts though?
I just don't think I would have enjoyed this as much as a movie, because I think that dedicating like a whole like couple 20-minute episodes to Miko and Shiori's backstory is like so important. Like, I think if you cut Shiori's backstory with like Suicide Bomber Chan, like it just doesn't hit the same. And same thing with like learning about Miko's, like why she's attached to Hinako and her family and such. Like, I think if you cut those into like 5-minute slices or whatever, 5-10 minute slices, it just doesn't have the same effect. And I do really like what you said about the pacing, 2 miles. I think that there's a way to adapt this as a movie, but it would have to take a lot of creative liberties, similar to what I assume that Kowloon generic romance movie did.
Okay, yeah, no, I think that's. Did that pacing for that end up being better than the pacing on the anime everyone thought was?
I never watched it, so probably
Okay.
though, because I did not like the pacing on the anime.
Yeah, I didn't
Because like
watch
I
the
guess if
movie.
you're doing a movie, maybe you just know you have to cut stuff, and so you can do it like cleaner, you know.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
that's interesting. This is completely meaningless, but Hinako's last name basically means like 800 years, and her parents were greengrocers, and the Japanese word for greengrocer also has 800 in it, and I wonder if that is going to matter at some point. I just realized this as if I was looking at it, but like I guess vegetables used to cost 800 yen each or something, and so like the term for like someone who sells vegetables is like 800 yen shop, even though it's like not at all connected to like a dollar store, which is the thing that it seems the most like. But I don't know. Maybe that'll matter. Maybe it won't. I don't know.
Who knows?
All right, cool, Miles. Thank you.
Sorry, I just needed to. I
Not
was
me.
thinking. um, it's been 800 years. Um,
Wow, good, nice. It's an old meme, but it checks out, Miles.
oh goodness.
So,
And
you guys,
oh yeah,
did you guys ever realize that Shiori is trans? Because she's fish, and in case you don't know, fish is the opposite of brick. And what a brick is it means that you're clocky, and what being clocky means is that people can tell that you're transgender.
I didn't. Okay, ironically enough, I didn't clock Shiori. So
Yeah, I wouldn't if she was a real person. Like, obviously, we keep that to ourselves. But yeah, I just thought I had to
yeah,
get the truth out there.
that's yeah. I might not know what the serving term is, but I got clock. That's- I have a.
Thanks. I've
Oh
been waiting to say
goodness.
that the entire time.
That was
Well,
Chinese to
but
me. I
okay,
don't know what any of those words meant.
but wait, Jolyne, is Hinako a brick because she's drowning slowly?
Yeah, I sang that at karaoke the other night, actually.
Oh my god! What an insane pick!
During the bridge, I was like, "This song's about abortion," and the MC went, "It is."
Oh my god, that should be a crime. Oh my god.
It was for
Uh,
me. It was just for me.
okay, good song. Um, okay. Um, so what I guess like what do you guys? I'm just curious about to get back to the Shiori Hinako dynamic for like a little bit. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you approve of Shiori's methods? Because to me, it's like That's sort of the feeling I get with it. But I'm just curious what everyone thinks about it. Like it does the job, but it seems a little heavy-handed, maybe.
Well, like in terms of relationship or in terms of like her end goal?
So I guess the way that I'm interpreting this is that Shiori's goal, much like Miko or whoever, is to make Hinako eventually happy.
Yeah.
Right? The way that Shiori does this is by promising her that she will kill her because Hinako wants to die, but she's unable to do it herself. Shiori does this knowing a few things. One, it is actually kind of hard for Hinako to die because she gave her blood. Two, she doesn't actually plan on doing it, at least from my interpretation of this. So it's like sort of like dangling a carrot in front of someone and never planning on giving it to them, in, I guess, to continue the metaphor, in hopes that they eventually give up their desire for carrots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't really work.
Good stuff. Thanks, Miles.
Yeah, where I think it's interesting to me because it seems to have a better effect on Hinako than Miko did by herself, whereas Shiori seems to make Miko more impactful on Hinako in some ways, as far as being able to be supportive of Hinako. I don't know, but it's just sort of like, what about her tactics? Like, how do we support them? I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, I guess I would say this. If you have somebody in your life who is at a point where it's like, in Hinako's stance, where it's like, would you do anything to save somebody? And if you do the route that you think that would be the most effective, yeah, I would say yes. Like, I really do think like doing what you believe is the right, maybe not the right thing, but the most effective way to save somebody, then yes, I would say it's unconventional and maybe not moral, but it's the intention of saving someone's life is there. So I'm gonna go with yeah. Yeah, I do think so.
Okay, yeah, I think that's like a good point of view on it. Jolyne, any thoughts there?
Well, I don't really like, from a human perspective, obviously, like, it's pretty morally wrong to, I mean, like, saving the life, yeah, but the like method of going about it is like morally wrong. But she's also like an ancient mermaid, like, who eats people. Like, I feel like this has to, it really must be like expressed that she eats people. So like morally, we're on a bit of a different. It's like when you're 6'7". It's like whenever you're talking with your MAGA uncle at Thanksgiving, and you realize that you're just on like a completely different plane of reality. Like, you guys don't even believe in like the same reality, more or less. Like, it's like, oh yeah, so I don't know. Her like sense of morality is basically wholly alien to us. So I don't really, for me personally, I don't see a point in like judging it necessarily. Like, maybe like Miko has had like hundreds of years to get to where she's at, basically. So like maybe in like after a long time skip, we can see how Shiori is morally.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I do think part of this is that that they're going to teach each other. Sort of, Shiori will obviously, I imagine, come out of this a little more empathetic than she starts off. And I guess when you contextualize Shiori against all other yokai and how they treat Hinako, except for Miko, she's very clearly in second place.
Shoot or shoot, right? Isn't that the saying?
Yeah. It's she at the very least, in the least charitable thing, is delaying trying to eat her. So that is at least the second best we see a yokai treat Hinako. Was there any visual things that stuck out to you guys during this? To me, when Hinako learns that like Shiori's secret and she like winds up in the desert or whatever, I think about that scene all the time compared to her sinking in the water. I just thought it was great because it's such a similar situation from a purely practical state of point. Like you're stranded somewhere and you're going to die, but the feeling between them is so different that I thought it was just sort of a genius use of that visualization. Was there anything else that you guys liked in this from like a visual use standpoint? Because I thought it looked pretty good just generally, and they did a lot of good stuff visually. Or any other things, I guess, that you think helped bring out any themes or anything like that?
I guess I would say the sea cockroach things or centipede things. I know it's not like a metaphor or anything. Those things were creepy as hell. And when they spoke, like, I mean, it doesn't have
They're
like,
just cute little guys.
nah, fuck them. She was right by crushing their skull. Like those things were disgusting. Oh my god, those things give me creep. It was nice because it was like, oh yeah, there is a horror aspect of this show, isn't there? It's like, oh yeah, those things were disgusting. But I mean, it might be cliche, but like the hand sticking out of the water, it was at episode 10 or 11. I mean, I just love that episode. I think it's episode 11. I just think that episode is just like fantastic in general, and like the idea of like going out to sea and grabbing onto the hand that's sticking out. That's like I'm assuming that's like representing her family and like dying with her family and like holding on to them for like one last time. I just thought that's whole episode was just incredible. And then Shiori kind of just slapping her, not physically or literally, but like waking her up from this trance that she's in and saving her and renewing their contract. I just yeah, I really like that. I guess when they incorporate just like the yokai stuff in the show was really I really enjoyed that. It added a different layer of just the human side of it, but the supernatural side as well. So I really liked it when they introduced or when they just included the yokai elements to the story.
Yeah, I agree. Right before I go to Jolyne for her answer, I will say another thing that's horrifying is the way Shiori looks at her full yokai form. Like, I do like that is, you know, just really scary looking. Um, Jolyne, what are your thoughts there about, anything visually, I guess, even audio or whatever? I'm never going to pick up on that. So, anything that helps set the tone, add to the themes, anything that you noticed, motifs?
Yeah, definitely agree about the creepy ass mermaid helping out with that. I think that just like honestly, just the whole idea of like the cannibalism motif was just really well done, even just because of their dynamic, because of the sort of like obviously, you know, Shiori is a very like possessive person, and what is more possessive of something than literally consuming it, devouring it, making it a part of yourself, using it for energy. And you know, like I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Plus, like as I mentioned in our anime club channel on the Discord, there's obviously like cannibalism has a long history of being a theme in like queer media and romantic media in general. And I think that this is like a great kind of addition to that lineage. And like I honestly I keep coming back to it a little bit, or I guess this is just my second time mentioning it, Miles, but like the way that they do the pacing of the show, like to really put you into Hinako's shoes, like I think it just adds so much to this. Just like the slowly drowning aspect of it, where you sort of see this like roller coaster that Hinako is going through, like where she feels like she's above water and then she's sinking again. She feels like she's above water and then she's sinking again. And then you add on to that the reason why she feels like she's above water is because she actually has the chance to die. And it's just like a very complicated, messy, emotional theme to the show. And I like, again, what is more complicated and messy than eating a human being?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I do. It's so.
Ooh, my Culvers just got here.
I think, yeah, to me, like the general despair of the hope of that Hinako has being her ability to eventually die is just, I don't know. It's such a tragic and beautiful and intricate little plot point, because I think, you know, I really liked how they wrote Hinako as someone with like survivor's guilt who hasn't been able to get past, you know, the deaths of her family very understandably. That's something I feel like we see a lot in anime, like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. We deal with a lot of young protagonists like Hinako whose parents are gone for whatever reason, like maybe they passed away, but I don't think we ever really see the remorse and guilt and despair that she feels. And so I think it's sort of
Why Fruits
great that
Basket is goaded.
yes.
That's like, you know, I'm about to mention a show that I shit on, but I actually think does it really well. Is Shin from '86? Like I think that's like a
he is.
like his character and his survival guilt is. I think that's
Imagine
portrayed
him and
really well.
Hinako having a conversation,
Oh,
and you just walk out. You just walk out, and you're also wanting to die.
we should get
Oh,
Hinako into
goodness.
'86 and maybe it'll be good.
Remember, know the rules, guys. Make it calling 86 43 because it's mid. Okay, saying mid hat harassment.
Correct.
I've been waiting for you to bring that up so I could say that.
Oh, dead ass, absolutely. There's a difference between, because Witch Hat is good and '86 is bad. That's the difference.
Have you considered the objective reality of the situation?
Did we watch the same shows?
This
Who knows?
this
Not me.
midster wants to eat me. Oh goodness. Hinako would die so fucking quick in '86.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she would take her service weapon and blow her brains out, or charge headfirst into the robots to die.
It would just not go very well for her.
No.
But that's okay.
Pete, I have a question for you in particular.
What's up?
As with all romance anime that take place in a small island town in Japan, my goal is to eventually have this adapted to a CW show. Which artist am I going to get to play the music for this? Is it A? Wait, no. I have particular choices for you. Is it A, Frank Ocean? Is it B, Sleeping with Sirens? Is it C, Freak Foxes? Or is it D, all of the above?
I feel like, oh man, what's the band that sings the "Hey yeah" that song? Who sings that? Four Non-Blondes. That's who I want to do it. They have the vibe of a CW Yuri show.
Yeah, that's valid. Actually, I actually completely understand what you're saying there.
Okay, I'm picking Kaylee Morg.
Okay.
Which is I mean, she's openly queer. She practiced witchcraft for a long time.
Face.
And her favorite. Okay, this is actually
you guys
bad.
missed my puns. You guys missed my puns that were in the band.
I did miss the puns. Who were so there was Frank Ocean. I do get the Ocean pun. Who were the other two?
And then instead of Fleet Foxes, Freak Foxes, because she's a 400-year-old fox that wants to smash a human.
Oh, true. Okay. Kaylee Morgan has a song called Sirens, which is what made me think of that.
I missed the joke. I thought it was an actual question.
Yeah, my bad.
I was locked in. I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen and I'm going to give a straight, honest answer. I was like, oh, that was a joke the whole time, wasn't it? Okay.
Look, I would be so excited if this got a CW show. And I mean, I think you say all anime that take place on a small island?
Yeah. Higurashi was the original.
Well, I want this one.
What is that?
Summertime
show,
Summertime rendering? Yeah, that would also work.
Which is also it's just Higurashi, but that's okay.
They all take place in the
island.
same, like, on different, they take place in an archipelago, like, just different islands.
Yeah, Yumaneko takes place on an island. Higurashi technically does not, but whatever.
Japan's an island
in it's surrounded by mountains instead of water, but like tomato.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so does anyone have a question other than that?
I don't know. My question was for the earlier episode, so I don't know if we want to go backward.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so my question was, we the audience know that Miko is a yokai before Hinako does. How did you like the approach that Shiori tried to use to turn Hinako away from Miko, or if you interpreted the scene differently, how did you interpret it?
When you say how did I like it, like, do you mean how I would score it as a tactic, or like what did it make me feel?
I mean, all the above. I guess it's more of
Okay.
like we knew the information ahead of time, and then we knew that it was going to be explained eventually. How did you like how that was showcased in the sense that we knew ahead of time and that was sort of setting up for our eyes?
Yeah. Well, one, I love some dramatic irony, right? So like I was a fan of that. I really liked, from a pure tactical standpoint, Shiori's move of trying to drive the wedge between Miko and Hinako. I did not like it, like as a viewer with like emotions and stuff. Like I was hoping that she would fail, like she ended up doing. But I thought it was a pretty smart move for her goal of isolating Hinako a bit. I also think it's interesting insofar that it shows how inherently untrusting of everyone Shiori is, right? There isn't really a reason to be wary of Miko, but Shiori is, because Shiori is Shiori, right? She doesn't trust anyone. We see that being good most of the time, but I think she does sort of learn to trust Miko at least a little bit by the end. That was my interpretation of it. I liked it. I thought it was a really good, intense scene. Jolyne, what do you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I just wish that maybe they would have mentioned the like glamored writing sort of thing as being a thing earlier, because it felt a little bit like ass-pulley. Like I expected it to happen because as soon as they mentioned like only special humans or like yokai can see like yokai blood, because like what other character is going to see that could possibly matter with how small of a cast this is, essentially. So like I did expect that aspect of it, but the whole like I'm gonna burn the school ledger and now like we realize that she never existed or whatever, like the memory, like it's like the opposite of the mind wipe Shiori did earlier, almost, or earlier in the chronology of the story, not in the episode order. I don't know, that aspect of it I just was kind of messed up my suspension of disbelief, I guess. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I thought that the emotionality behind it was really good, like seeing like Miko slowly lose herself as she kind of like feels like she's losing like the one thing that she really cares about was very interesting. And the whole time that it's happening, I'm like, okay, show me what yokai she is, though. Like, they waited so long. I'm just like, I need to see what fucking yokai she is, dude.
If she was something super stupid,
like what if she was like the fat snake or whatever? Like,
yeah. Well, like Poppy Snake or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. Or like a tanuki with like massive balls.
That's actually the first thing I thought of. She's just like a really fat, giant testicled tanuki. Just
close enough. Welcome back, Apocalypse Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh goodness. She looked really sick though as the kitsune or whatever she
Great
was.
monster designs in this, like all throughout. I wish that we had like a few more like named monsters, but I understand that you can't really. I don't want it to evolve into like monster of the week or something like that. But I just like I don't know. I wanted to see more because they did great with everything that they showed us.
Mhm. And I guess for my 2 cents with it, I kind of like it when you have like characters that like play to win, but like by any means necessary, where it's like you're actively trying to sabotage like a friendship of somebody else. And to get to Shiori's goal, you just knock down whatever in your way by any means necessary. And I feel like that's like a testament to Shiori's character. Okay, that's different, but
Why?
because
Why is it different?
okay, here's the difference. Shiori is
I'm
like
missing so much context here. I'm gonna take my headphones off while you guys talk about
because
this.
Shiori is like actually a snake-like creature, where Ichika or whatever her name is a metaphorical snake. And so that's the difference. So there's
I thought you said you liked it when people played to win, Pete.
okay, but it's like you play. There's games that have rules. You know, it's like it's the context of the game that you're playing. Where if you're playing pickup basketball, you shouldn't like shoot somebody. But like if you're robbing a bank, you could shoot somebody. Like you see that there's levels to this, and so
Okay.
the quince is on like a 2, and the monster wants to eat me is at like a 10. So when you're at the intensity level of this, you can kill somebody. It's like you can ruin relationships. You can ruin people's lives because the end goal is to literally eat another person. Like you could go above like reasonable human logic where you can't. Well, I mean, you can in Quince, but you know what? You see what happened to her, Miles? She lost. Quince spoilers. Sorry, I didn't realize I was gonna dive into Quince talk, but would your snake? You lose. Be a mermaid instead. That's the end goal. When life gives you reptiles, be a yokai. Boom.
Okay. Yeah, this is a good part for me to come back in on. I
Yes.
agree with you.
Yes.
Honestly.
I think the big thing that you missed, Jolyne, was that Pete said snakes were more or less basically fish.
I mean, everything with a spine is a fish.
Okay. I wasn't sure which way you'd take that, but fair enough.
Boom! You tried to box me and you did it.
Tag me in, Pete. Tag me in.
Hot tag. Hot tag.
Yeah.
Bog
Yeah, I just
out.
think it's
Bog out. Whose
interesting
music is that? Is that
how-
Jolyne's music? Bog out.
Trent, quick, play Nuck If You Buck over this.
No, I'm gonna get copyright strike.
No, dude, Crime Mob, like all of Crime Mob's dead. You'll be fine.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure,
Even
like
the girl
all of
rapper?
them are. Yeah, Gangsta Boo. She died like almost 10 years ago.
Rest in peace, Gangsta Boo.
No, I say that literally all the time.
Oh, damn.
Oh,
okay.
actually, sorry. I'm thinking of. I'm not thinking of Gangsta Boo.
Gangsta Boo's 3-6 Mafia.
3-6 Mafia. Yeah,
Yeah, she
my
is
fault.
dead,
My
though.
fault. Yeah, Gangsta Boo. Yeah, Jesus. R.I.P. to both of
Sorry.
them.
I was just looking it up.
We went from Quince to 3-6 Mafia. Only in this podcast, baby. Name another podcast that's doing that. I dare you.
Oh my god.
That's why we're the #1 anime podcast in Indonesia.
Whoa, number 3.
Yeah. And everybody in the comments, let Pete know that he's a hypocrite for his opinion on.
I'm
Queens.
not. I explained in full detail and
Yeah. Okay.
in perfect logic. Did I compare Quince to robbing a bank?
Sometimes
Maybe.
it's a 2 and sometimes it's a 10.
It is. There are levels. There are levels to severities. Come on.
I think one is clearly the worst thing to do, and it's not the one you think is worse.
There's a difference between a brush fire and then the Palisades. Like, there's a difference. They're both fires, but there's different levels of intensity. Fuck Ichika. Nino gang all day.
Me too, but
Yes.
I just, like, as you said, you like it when shooters shoot, and I you know,
That's not shooting.
I have to be consistent.
That's not shooting.
You compared it to shooting someone.
Honor amongst thieves, not honor amongst snakes. Snakes don't get any honor. They get stepped on. They get what Shiori does to the sea. I'm gonna bring up the sea cockroaches again. Boom, crushed.
Those poor guys.
We should do the Champ Eagle question.
Okay. So I think the one that we need to talk about more is that if this was done by a more Wells studio instead of Studio Lings, do you think this would have been more revered or criticized?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I do too, but first off, I want to say, like, Studio Lings, I don't really know them, but I think they did a great job with this. Like, there were a few production issues. You could tell budget played a part every once in a while with, like, when they had the big monsters on screen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they couldn't do things super fluidly, but I think given the constraints that they did, or that they probably had, I think they did an amazing job. Like, I think they did a great job. If this was done by a bigger studio, I think that is, like, I think the, like, hashtag discourse would be more, as like Jolyne sort of alluded to earlier, right? You would get more people. Oh my god, these people. Oh, they also did. Okay, the studio's fucking goated. They did Yuri's My Job.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to catch that.
Oh my god, that's so fucking crazy. I've given every
like,
show I've watched in the
exclusively
studio.
only do like Yuri shows. It looks like, minus the one that's coming out later.
Okay. Anyways, in that case, what I'm going to say is they were the perfect studio for this. As my new favorite studio, there wasn't a better choice. And I thought Passione did. They did. They worked with Pat. Okay. But, you know, I think there would have been more discussion, but I think that I really think it's at, like, what I would consider to be the sweet spot where it was, like, well made enough that people who aren't going to go into this with any sort of bad faith watched it and therefore could talk about it, and it hopefully didn't miss too many people, but it wasn't, like, so big that we have to deal with fucking chuds talking about it, basically. Is my thought. But
that's fair.
What do you guys think?
I think because I this has like a tone where I feel like if you wanted to be a little bit more avant-garde, you definitely could. I think definitely with some of like the visual elements, like we saw in episode, I'm gonna keep bringing it up, episode 11, where we have a lot of scenes where it's not as, or it's more visual than audio based. Like there's no communication. It's all just through music and just what we're seeing. You can take those elements and I think really make it like avant-garde style. Like think of something like Sunny Boy, and you have scenes like those where you can be a little bit more abstract to get a point across to it. Like I think the Monster That Wants to Eat Me has something like that. So if you take a studio like Science Saru, Madhouse, who did, I guess that's Science Saru. I was like, who did Devilman Crybaby? I'm like, yeah, I'll say like, if someone like Science Saru took this, I think it could be elevated. I definitely think it could. I think that there's some creative visual ways to make this a little bit more abstract and a little bit more avant-garde style. So I think so, but I think it's more like you said. I think a bigger name attached to it would add to the discourse rather than the quality of it. But I think taking an avant-garde style approach to it with a director who has done it could definitely change some of the tones that I think I would have really liked to see in it. Even though I did think that Lings, I mean, this is easily my highest rated property from them. So I'm happy with what we got, and I think it could have been improved elsewhere. But for the most part, this was really, really well done.
It's a good strat because if you change the art style to be more avant-garde, people will naturally gravitate away from it, and then you don't have to deal with as many people complaining about it or whatever, which is good. Jolyne, thoughts?
I mean, yeah, Studio Lings, like, it's cool that they do a lot of Yuri. That makes them like okay to do this, obviously, in my book, and they did a pretty good enough job. But I don't actually like. I don't think there would have been much discourse, honestly. Like, even with a bigger studio, because like, look at. Do we count Side Games Pictures as a big studio at this point?
Now
like,
they are. They are now for sure.
Nobody cared about the summer Hikaru died. Like, about the discourse around it, I should say. People loved it. Like, people liked the couple, even though one of them's a monster. Like, a literal, like, eldritch horror and, like, flesh puppeting somebody's body. Summer Hikaru died was last year. I don't know. Like, I just don't. I don't really see a reason for there to be that much more discourse than there already was, considering that this is like pretty popular. Like, it got like a theatrical release in Japan. It's I don't know. Like, the OST sells really well in Japan
Wait,
from
this
what
got a
I've seen.
theatrical release?
Yes, it got a theatrical release in Japan.
I did not know, that's sick.
I don't know. I don't think it would have made a huge difference, honestly. Big studios, like, they do weird shit all the time, honestly. Like, there would have been people who didn't watch it, but I don't think anybody would have, like, had a huge discourse over it that would have any meaningful impact on the.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
I think that's fair.
Can I bounce
Oh,
off of that? Because I really
yeah.
do think that changing it to a more like I'm just like the show looks good, but like it doesn't do anything outstanding that would like change it, I guess. I feel like this is the type of property where like if it looked unique in what it's presenting, it would get way more discourse because you brought up Summer Hikaru died. That had a lot of discourse when it came out. Like it was so popular, and I think Cygames was a huge factor of it because it elevated like the animations were like so well done. And so like
Yeah.
I think taking something like Cygames and incorporating it into this, I think would have the same effect as Hikaru did.
Yeah, seeing the animation better, like seeing the animation like be a bit smoother, more fluid, whatever,
Mhm.
would have been great. Don't get me wrong. But I also think that there's not really like it's not like the show has a ton of moments where you could have like Sakuga or something like that. It's not super action heavy. Like it would be like small motions being more fluid and some of the choppy stuff that we did see, and as well as like some of the sound design, I think, being improved, because there were some very obvious like stock sounds that were used even to comedic effect. Like whenever there's a point where Shiori like scrabbles away and it makes like the Scooby-Doo running away sound or something like that as she comes back, or like in episode 6 when she Jamiroquai slides towards Hinako on the bench from the top down perspective. Like I think stuff like that could have been more interesting, and with like a higher budget, bigger studio, like we would have got more out of it. But it's just not, I don't think it would have to be like a huge art style change, like you had mentioned before, where you go more avant-garde with it. You have like something like I don't know, like some of the weird choices that something like Review Starlight like would have done, or something like that, or Sunny Boy, like you mentioned, or even like Shibo Yugi, something like that. I think that there's opportunities, but at the end of the day, like it's a emotional driven romance show. Like I don't think it suffers that much from having not insane animation, essentially.
Oh god, doing impressionism like Shiba Yugi for like some of the flashbacks and stuff could have been fire.
Agree.
Just like it does the same, like just like a more in-depth version of not giving her family eyes to like make it clear that it was a flashback
Oh,
sort of thing.
that would have been sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have done it on purpose instead of just to
It's
save.
being lazy.
um oh goodness. I'm very happy with what we got though, I will say.
Agreed.
Same. Yeah.
I think they did a good job, all things considered. And like again, as my new favorite studio.
Yep.
Too. It was Science Saru, but once I learned that they did both this and Yuri is my job, some say the greatest work of fiction of all time, they got to be number one. Okay.
And who says that?
Well, me.
Yeah, it's okay. Just wanted to get that on the record real quick.
Okay, yeah. Someone else maybe. Um, like maybe one other person. Okay, so I think we're good for final thoughts and scores. And we're gonna start with Jolyne.
Yeah, really solid girls love, not bait. Really enjoyed that aspect of it. The imagery was really well done. One thing that we didn't mention that I really enjoyed is throughout the series, like the sea creatures Hinako sees are different based on which zone of the ocean she's sinking into. So it starts off where you see like whales and stuff, which are in like the upper like sunlight zone. And then by the end, there's just like actual deep sea creatures around her to show that she's literally on the ocean floor, which is really interesting. The like I said, OST sound effects go really hard. I enjoyed the character writing. I like that they kept it tight. Pacing was really well done. It's hard for me to give this anything lower than an 8, but I really think that I wish that they would have held off on waiting until the manga was done to adapt this so we could just get 2 cores and finish it, because it seems like that's about how much is left, is maybe a core uh core and a little bit of change left. And I didn't really like the ending point that they left off on, and I am not hopeful of us getting a second season unless it goes to a different studio. So it's an 8 for me. If they adapted the whole thing, it probably would have been like a 9, in my opinion, if the ending was good.
And Pete.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this time to talk about like the core thing that I didn't really get to touch on a lot, but my favorite thing about this story was the dynamic of Hinako wanting to die and her struggles with handling that. Where it reminds me of somebody who is like a daredevil, like Evil Knievel or something like that, is what she reminds me of. Where you have a death wish, but you don't want it to be at your own hand. And struggling with that battle within where it's like, do I want to actually live or do I not want to like live anymore? And Hinako having the promise of surviving, but like realistically just having internal battles and internal struggles with herself the entire time. And I just like how that the show handled that. Like I love that Hinako one day was okay and was with her friends and she was in a good mindset. And then the next day, something triggers it and she's not the same anymore. She's not healthy and she's battling with all these demons inside of her. And like we saw that throughout the show. And I just thought that was such a well portrayed instance with Hinako's character. So a lot of times when we have subject matters of suicide, it's not like that. And I just really enjoyed how it was handled and like the real struggles people go through with like mental health. And I think it was showcased really well with that. While this is like a romance and everything like that, I think more than anything at the end of the day, like that was the concept of the story is Hinako's battles of within and just everything that goes along with it. So I loved it. I loved Hinako's character. I love Shiori. Miko's the first time we watched it, I didn't really like Miko. Second time around, I thought she was fine. So really just
I
like
love
what we
Miko.
got. I hope we get more content. I know we're not going to, but never say never type of thing. I give it a 9 the first time we watched it. I'm gonna give it a 9 the second time I watched it. So 9 out of 10 for me.
Great. Great thoughts. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with all of this. I mean, I didn't really mind the ending too much. I'll get around to reading it if we don't get anything at some point, if there's not a lot more. But it sort of ended at a point where I get it, like I don't know what happens, but I get the idea of what will probably happen going forward, which I think is good enough for me as far as an ending. I love just sort of like the mood of this, the tightrope that it walks for all of its like relationships and how they're sort of precariously balanced against each other in a way to keep Hinako on this sort of tightrope. That tension is great. Um, I also just love the whole aesthetic. I love the ocean town sort of thing. Jolyne was mentioning that with like the sea creatures and everything. I have less knowledge about that, but I did grow up on the beach, so I do have a fondness for that sort of setting. I gave this a 10. I would love to get more. I hope we do, but at the end of the day, we won't. We'll see. This does make my math very easy, which is nice. So this is going to be a 9 flat. There's only 3 of us, so the math is going to be pretty easy, regardless. Okay, this is where I kick it over to me to tell us what we're gonna watch next. We had a vote in our Discord for our viewers'
No,
choice week.
That's for the.
Oh,
That's next.
Fuck, you're right. Okay,
we are doing that though, but we're not doing.
Yeah, no, we just knew who won that, so I in my head.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I get that.
We are
keep
terrible
that
at scheduling, and this is part of scheduling for sure.
I'll keep that a secret. So we're not nominating anything, but we do know what won last week. We had sort of an impromptu spring 2026 and adjacent anime week. In third place, we had Akane Banashi. In second place, we had Needy Girl Overdose. And in first place, we had Witch Hat Atelier.
Pretends to be shocked.
I know. Well,
it was way
just
closer
the way that I
than you
counted
think.
the votes. It was like not in. Well, it wasn't in the last because no one voted for Astoria, but
Thank
it was like
God,
in third.
By the way, base voting.
It was in like third for a while.
I think I voted for Astoria. It got me fucked up. I wanted to hear Pete hate.
My hate
he wouldn't have hated though because it's season 1.
Yeah,
and what will we be watching next time? No, nobody knows.
Let's give some context since we're not doing nominations. So
yeah,
I could do it.
Who could say?
Okay, you would do it.
Yep. So every year we've actually this is the second year we've done it. We've done a viewer's choice. So if you want to participate, you have to join our Discord to do this. So it's for our more active and more hardcore listeners. So shout out to everybody who voted. But we had a 32 show bracket, and I'll leave it on a cliffhanger for those who are not in the Discord. It's we either are watching Flip Flappers or The Night is Short Walk On Girl, and you will find out who wins that on the next Watch Club episode. I think that's
I am so happy either way.
Yeah, me too.
Those are 2 of my one of them's in my top 10, and I love the other one. So, but that is good. Okay. With all of that, then Pete, can you take us out?
I'll take us out. Yeah. So if you made this far and you want to support us, the best way to do so: like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you are watching or listening to us on. Next week, no episode. I'm taking a break. Work is busy, so and I need to catch up on seasonal. So no episode next week. Then following, it will be Watch Club, and then we will be diving into the summer properties. So we'll be doing the first impression episode. So no episode next week, but got more content on the way, so don't worry about it. So on behalf of everybody here, we want to say thank you, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Bye-bye.